what's happening to our soul, what's happening to your soul, and are there influences trying to steal your soul?
Welcome to So-Called Satanism, a true crime podcast about the Satanic Panic and how the media uses the Satanic Panic as a tool to get people in trouble. My name is Joe Gibbs, and with me is
Melanie Jacobs.
And we'll be your tour guides on this
on this wonderful journey together.
Yeah, right. This is episode number 4, I believe, if I can count correctly.
That's what I see on the top of my screen.
Yeah, that's what I named it.
You're the one that sent me the link.
Yeah. 4 sounds right. I think because we released 3 at once. Yeah, whatever. So before we do anything, we can go leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or follow us on the old Spotify or whatever you listen to this shit on. Just go ahead and follow us
and like us on social media like Facebook, Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Good old Facebook. You don't have to like us on Twitter though, because Twitter's gonna die now that Elon Musk bought it. But
we'll
it's a
see.
different. Yeah, he's.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, we won't get it. I don't want to get all Elon Musky right now, but I hate the guy.
I think he's annoying.
All I'm hoping for with this is that my Dogecoin become valuable enough for me to feel okay with selling them. So instead of right now I'm down like $300. So it's
I don't know what any of it means. So
it's just it was a meme coin. I regret investing in it. That's all I'm going to say.
I am so sorry.
Cryptocurrencies are stupid. I hate them. I don't want to deal with it.
No
they don't make any.
offense.
Like, I get them, whatever. I get that it's like a thing that could be good, but like it's not right now. So
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the reception to the podcast has been good so far. So just wanted to say I appreciate everybody that's reached out and said that they like it and listened and watched. Yeah, watched on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to all of them. And I got kind of a long one today. So if you're feeling it, we can just kind of dive into this bitch.
Let's jump right in there.
Get in head first into this fucking pool of Satan.
Yes, I love Satan.
Yes, I love you, Satan. Also, sorry if my voice sounds like slightly hoarse, or if I keep like sipping on this cute little mug with me on it. I'm just hoarse today. I don't know.
I hope your tea helps.
I think it's actually really helping. That was fake. Okay, I was doing that for comedic effect. All right,
I was scared for a second.
So we were in Tennessee last week, and we are in Tennessee again in the same area, because this is the case that I said last week that I was going to cover this week. So we're in the same GD area in roughly the same time period.
All right.
So we're going to get this is going to get heavy fast. So like we're not, we're got no warm up. We're pounding it right now.
Are we just going to get right in there?
It's going to be visceral.
Okay.
That was a pretty cool word.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either, but I know that it's like.
Why are you using
intense.
it?
I just like it. Visceral.
All right.
Welcome to so-called Satanism. It's visceral in this bitch.
I wish Joe would teach me what it meant, but I guess I'll look it up later.
Hey, if you're listening, go leave us a 5-star and comment the definition of visceral right now. So
I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, just let me know. Okay, so January 13th, 1995, 8:05 in the morning at the University of Tennessee. We're at the agriculture campus, kind of near a park that I didn't write down the name of because I'm an idiot, but I think it was like Trey Park or something, or Troy Park.
Okay, something like that.
Yeah, so there's an employee that works the grounds, reported to find something that was out of the ordinary. He found what he thought was a dead animal. And as you would expect, based on this podcast, upon further investigation, he discovered that, in fact, this was the body of a woman. Melanie, I sent you the picture of her. It was a pretty gruesome scene.
Yeah, it was.
Disgusting. Terrible, horrible,
It was terrible, but I still looked.
Yeah, it's like you can't not,
I know. It's like a car crash.
It's kind of important too, I think, because then you can like sometimes stories kind of feel unreal, and then you see pictures and you're like, oh, okay, so this is an actual real thing. I think it's kind of important in what we do to see stuff sometimes. So she was naked from the waist up. Her throat was cut. Her head had been beaten pretty severely, and she was cut up all over her body. But most interestingly, there was a pentagram cut in her chest. In the book that I read, this pentagram, it's hard to see it like on the pictures, but like it's a very faint circle in the middle of her chest, and then there's the star. You can barely make it out, and it's really shittily done. But that is there, and that is kind of an important detail. She was pretty unrecognizable as a human because she was so like severely beaten. Like
wow,
her face was just like basically gone. It was.
How long was she out there for?
They weren't sure, but it wasn't very long. It was.
Okay.
It seemed like this was like the next morning after it happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So one of the officers, they obviously called the police. Police come in. He thought he was looking at her face at one point, but he was looking at the back of her head. She was face down in the dirt. That's how beaten she was. That like the back of her head got confused with her face. Like,
that is awful.
Yeah. There was evidence of a struggle in the area. There was trampled bushes, body drag marks, a lot of blood. There were hand and knee prints within the mud as well. So like she'd been down on her hands and knees at a point. About 30 feet from where her body was found, there was a pool of blood, suggesting that she had been beaten in one spot and then dragged to where she was found. They also recovered her shirt and bra in the area, as well as a bloody rag that was probably like in her mouth. It was just, it was like right next to her head. It was a hair thing, they believe.
Like a headband or something?
Yeah, it was like a ribbon to tie her hair up.
Oh,
like a little, it was like it was kind of like a bandana. Yeah.
Okay.
So around 4 or 5 p.m. that day, a few women came to the crime scene and were asking what was going on. According to the police, they were asking questions like why this happened, if they had any suspects, etc. And the police claimed that they were acting like weird, like almost giddy, like happy to be there, like, oh, what's going on? Like weird. And something caught their eye. One of the girls was wearing a pentagram necklace. So,
ooh,
yeah,
that's a little spicy.
In the 90s, that's gonna rise a little bit of.
That's gonna cause a ruckus.
Yeah, that's gonna cause a bit of a fucking ruckus, ruckus. That was a pretty bad joke. I apologize for that. So who was this woman? Why was she murdered? They had to identify her with dental records at a point because that's how messed up she was. During the autopsy, one of the policies that they had at this, where they did the autopsies, was they have to assign a letter to each cut. In the book I read, or each wound, sorry, they went through and listed all of the wounds like by letter. And there was a point where they hit like double letters, like AA, AB, and there were so many. So they kind of just like only started keeping track of the big ones. So there were so fucking many. The wound on her throat was 6 inches long and like open. It was like deep enough to cut through the muscle and like the fat in her neck. There's a picture of that as well that I sent to you. That was
it looked like a lot of overkill. If somebody was
mad. There was
very angry.
There was she had bruising as well that was consistent with crawling. Eventually they would determine her cause of death was blunt force trauma to her head. It wasn't really said, but they found out that it was done with like an asphalt rock. Like think of like the side of like a bike path or something,
like
where the asphalt
road or something.
Right. Well, like where the roads get cracks in them and you can like pick up the rocks.
Oh yeah.
And when I was a kid, I used to do that shit in our road. Like we'd see like the rocks, we'd pick them up and like start fucking with the road and make it all shitty.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. It wasn't a lot to do in the country where I lived.
It's Morrison.
Well, I lived in the middle of nowhere too, so it's like
true. That's even
kind
worse.
of fucked. I'm out here fucking with the road, just picking up rocks.
That sounds like a really fun hobby.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Good times.
But there were, she was hit in the head with this, like, basically like a rock. It was like hard like a rock. She was hit at least 4 times. Some of the stories say 5 times. She was hit twice on the left side of her head, once over her right eye and once on her nose. So she had excessive skull fractures. Her head was smashed. One of the worst hits on her head was while she was against a hard surface. So like her head was like sideways against the ground or something, and she was hit, so it like smashed. Ugh.
Ugh.
Her like skull cracked open and gray brain matter had come out of her head. Like this was
Ugh.
a severe, disgusting beating. But the worst part about this was all the wounds showed the person that did the autopsy that odds are that none of those wounds made her unconscious. So she was alive during this entire
During all
torture.
of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was also blood flow around the wounds and in her sinus to indicate that she was alive the whole time. She was viciously tortured and murdered. So why? And who was she? She would eventually be identified as Colleen Slemmer. I believe that's how it's pronounced. She had dropped out of high school. Colleen Slemmer. That's like one of those things where the more I say it, the more it sounds wrong.
It's okay. Just keep saying it.
Colleen Slemmer. You
Yep.
want to say like Colleen Summer or something.
Slimmer.
Sleemer.
What?
Colleen Slemmer. She had dropped out of high school and was working shitty fast food jobs in Florida. But she had learned about this thing called the Job Corps. This was basically like a government-funded thing that troubled teens could go get vocational training, essentially. They would sign contracts and basically have to live in like dorm rooms here and go to like a vocational school.
Oh, okay.
So she moved to Tennessee to do this. She's going to get computer training through Job Corps. It was said that Colleen was into witchcraft. In the book that I read, it was called, it said she was into white witchcraft.
What is white witchcraft?
So it said that it was called white paganism as well. So it said that white paganism is nothing like this is a quote, the anti-Christian religion Satanism.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They said that white witchcraft use their magic powers for good.
All right.
It's one of those things. It's like I'm not gonna like shit on this because I don't think this is what. Like I don't know if you asked her specifically like what are you? I don't think she would say I'm a white witch. You know.
Right.
So yeah, the book like I used was called A Love to Die For. So, yeah.
Okay.
It's a pretty loose pentagram, by the way. The pentagram that was on her was pretty loose. You can't make it out. Her neck looks terrible. The pictures were in this book and they were so fucked up looking. So we're going to jump to another character in this story. Krista Pike. She was born March 12th, 1976. So, yeah, she's a Pisces. Can't fucking trust a Pisces.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. What do you know about Pisces? You know anything about Pisces?
I honestly don't know. I don't know any. I don't think.
I just know
really
that.
talk shit about them.
Yo, fuck Pisces, dude. All my homies hate Pisces. So growing up, she had a pretty shitty relationship with her mom. Her mom was Carissa Hansen. She was a nurse. Krista was a premature baby, and her mom blamed that for her having behavior problems. Which I didn't really know that was like a thing, but like technically it is a thing that if you're a premature baby, there's like more likely for you to have like brain issues, like anger issues, behavior problems. It's a thing. Huh. I don't know enough about it, so like don't quote me on this, but
right.
Yeah. But that definitely was
that's interesting.
Yeah. It is very interesting. So her mom said that she was an issue since the age of 8. And they said by 9 years old, she was growing weed in the house.
Damn.
Yeah. And her mom allowed her to have a live-in boyfriend when she was 14. But that's whatever. But growing weed at 9 seems pretty like entrepreneurial,
that's intense.
You know?
That's like
at 9?
Starting them early.
At 9, you're able to grow weed? Like, you think it was good weed? Like, so you're growing, I don't know.
What if
It
she's
can't be
growing that
good.
good?
Yeah, right.
She's
That,
growing some
like,
OG Kush in the basement.
that dank kush in the basement, baby. So yeah, around that age, 14, her mom tried to get her get hip, get cool. You know, like I'm a cool mom. So she's like, let's smoke the Satan lettuce together.
Wow.
You like this? You like Satan lettuce? Because I really like Satan lettuce. Like
I do
devil's
love
lettuce is
it.
kind of played out. So I think Satan lettuce is like the new vibe.
The Satan lettuce.
Satan lettuce.
I love
Or like
Satan
maybe I should call
lettuce.
it like like Satan cabbage or something. Or like
I like Satan cabbage. That kind of has a nice ring to it.
yeah, Satan cabbage. She's
Yeah.
smoking the Satan cabbage with her mom. So yeah, she was trying to be like cool with her. Like maybe if I relate with her, then we'll have a better relationship. So let's smoke dope together.
Interesting.
Didn't really work, but
I wouldn't think so, but
her grandma on her mom's side was said to be verbally abusive. And because of all of those things, them not liking each other, her mom's mom being kind of a bitch too. She was raised by her father's mother. And that grandmother was an alcoholic and also abusive. But she died when Krista was 12. And after that, Krista attempted suicide by overdose. There were rumors that were never confirmed, but like it said she was like sexually abused as a child, but there's no, like, I read that in one source and I didn't have any information on it. I have no reason not to believe it, but I'm saying it's not corroborated all over the place.
It's just an allegation.
It's like it's like not even know if it's an allegation. It's like just one story said that happened, and like there's like no details, just that happened. So like I'm inclined to believe it.
Yeah,
I'm inclined to believe it.
Okay.
So she never really had a stable home from that point. She'd go back and forth from her parents' homes, who were divorced, obviously, until 1989 when she got kicked out of her dad's house. I wanted to point out that one of the first sources I used was, you're gonna love this. It's She Devil is what the book was called.
Ooh,
so let me read a paragraph.
Like
Let me read a paragraph about her getting kicked out in this book. Krista was kicked out of her father's house for the second and final time due to her unruliness and the alleged sexual abuse of her father's then 2-year-old daughter with his second wife. So can you like make out what I even said in that? Because I fucking couldn't make it out when I kept reading it. It's written so strange.
Honestly, I can't.
I read like
me.
Yeah, exactly. It was a run-on sentence.
Started talking.
I know. She was kicked out of her father's house for the second and final time due to her unruliness in the alleged sexual abuse of her father's then 2-year-old daughter with his second wife. Like, it's written like a fucking tongue twister.
Excuse me.
I'll break it down for you. Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't.
What I read that originally was like, oh, so her father was abusing and then she got kicked out for that, and I was really confused. But no. It was said that later on in the book that I read, it was 21 pages. I paid $3 for it. I was ripped off. I shouldn't be laughing. I'm not laughing at this part. I'm just laughing because I said
I'm
a
laughing
joke,
at you spent $3.
Exactly. Me too. That's what we're laughing at, because this next part's really bad, because Krista sexually abused her half sister when she was 2, and that's why she was kicked out of the house.
Wait, Krista sexually abused her half sister?
Yes, and see why that was so confusing, that sentence. Now, knowing that, when I read it back, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. It's just written stupid.
I don't like the way it's written. It's written in a way that I cannot understand it.
I know. It's like they tried to like fit as many details into one sentence as they could. So anyway, another fuck thing is that Krista's mom's boyfriend whipped her with a belt, and Krista then threatened him with a butcher knife. Have you ever threatened anybody with a butcher knife?
No. Have you?
This tea is really good. This fucking tea is really good.
It hits.
No, I haven't. I've never done that.
Honestly was kind of waiting for you to tell me a story because you were like leading up to it.
Yeah, that was
So I'm
that was,
just
that was a
waiting
joke.
and
You like my that was like good. That was my comedic timing. I like did like a big sip of my
it kind of
Truly
made
like
me
this,
upset.
mm, mm, and like left you wondering if that actually did maybe pull a butcher knife on
I was
somebody.
kind of waiting for some tea, not like the tea you're drinking, but like gossip,
See, that's what I should
like
have
a
said.
good
I should have been like,
story.
I got some tea for you, and then I take a sip of my tea. That would have gone so hard.
It would have.
We would have had all the white women like just cracking up.
Oh, I know. I would have cracked up.
Exactly. You're like, oh, that's a pretty good joke. That's a pretty good joke there.
LOL.
LOL. Oh my fucking
Lots
god.
of love.
Lots of love. So yeah, her mom always blamed herself for Krista's shit behavior. And her aunt described her as a pathological liar, which I wrote as pathological Lyra, and she wouldn't let her kids hang out with her. So yeah, she dropped out of high school, as people that are like that do. And Krista joined the Job Corps. She was taking classes on nursing. She made
Wow.
some friends. Those friends were Daryl Shipp, Colleen Slemmer, and Shadola Peterson.
Shadola.
Okay.
To
Daryl, Colleen, and Shadola is how they'll be
Okay.
referred to the rest of the story. Her boyfriend was Daryl. So we're going to jump to January 11th, 1995.
Wow.
Krista talks to one of her friends. Her name was Kim. His name.
I'm ready for it.
Iloilo.
How's it spelled?
Iloilo.
Oh no, I'm not even gonna try
Iloilo.
that.
Iloilo.
I
Right?
think you got it.
Iloilo. It's just like my tongue like wants to not make the sound.
I don't want to try.
I know. It's a kind of a cool name. I just wish I could like knew how to say it like
You should
correctly.
have like
Iloilo.
did a Google thing.
Yeah, but see, this is more fun. It's just like doing
Just
it on
trying.
the spot, being an asshole and saying her name wrong.
Wow.
So Krista says some weird shit. She tells her that she's feeling mean today. The little quote was, "I just felt mean today. I just feel mean today." She tells Kim that she's gonna kill Colleen Slemmer. But whatever.
Oh.
Krista's kind of this weird, edgy fuck. Like, you know, sometimes people just say weird shit like that, right? They had some beef.
No.
You've never said that?
No.
You never walked into your friend's dorm room and said, "I'm feeling pretty mean today. I'm gonna kill this girl."
I mean, I've said I'm mean today, but I don't talk about killing anyone.
Really? Not even one time? Not even like
No. Have you? Is it something you've done in your life?
I love tea. No, I haven't. So January 12th, around 8 p.m., Kim sees Krista, Colleen, Daryl, and Shadola leaving the Job Corps. And around 10:15, she sees them again, but this time Colleen Slemmer is not with them. Kim doesn't really think anything of it. And then at 11 p.m., Krista comes into Kim's dorm room and tells her, "I killed Colleen." And he showed her what she claimed was a piece of her skull. And while she was telling this story, she was kind of giddy, dancing around the room, smiling, dancing, like just bouncing around the room. So the next morning they talk, and Kim says, "What are you going to do with the skull?" Guess what she said she's going to do with the skull?
What?
You got any weird guesses?
No.
Like, so say you have a piece of a skull, right? What's the most logical thing to do with it?
I'd probably put it in my lunchbox.
Well, she
And take it to
basically
school
did that.
with me.
She basically did that. She used it to
Really?
eat breakfast.
Oh.
She's eating some cereal with it.
Huh.
Yeah. So she told another friend.
That is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting, right? Like she's like spooning up. Disgusting.
Yeah.
She told another friend as well, and the other friend, to this friend, she was bragging about these brown blood spots on her pants and her shoes. So yeah, there's neither of them went to the police. Neither of them went to the police because like she's just talking shit.
Even though she's doing all these suspicious things and her shoes, I don't know.
The shoes? Yeah, look at the shoes. But then again, they are troubled teens who probably don't have good relationships with the police. So it's like, yeah, should they have? Yeah. But, I get why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
So, turns out the girl from earlier that was around the crime scene, remember that? Asking
Mhm.
about, what's going on here? Do you have any
Yeah.
suspects? You know who that was? Krista Pike.
Ooh. Huh.
Yeah, pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't really try to hide it this
That's
time.
crazy. She'd be super interested in it.
Right. Oh God. Well, why?
I know, right?
So she was arrested. Um, after a piece of skull was discovered in her pocket. She had left her jacket hanging on a chair in Job Corps. One of the workers there had heard about the crime and knew this jacket belonged to Krista, so he turned it into police. And inside of the jacket, obviously, was a piece of skull. And this skull would later be linked to Colleen. So
Wow.
Pike gets brought into the police. She is immediately saying everything. She's like, yo, I did this shit. This is what happened. This is why I did it. And they're like, yo, slow down. Just let us fucking write it down. No, she admits to everything. They search her dorm and they find bloody jeans. And she leads them to a trash can that she threw away her ID, or threw away Colleen's ID, as well as bloody gloves. So why did this happen? We're going to go back to the start to figure that out.
Okay.
After getting to Job Corps, she meets 17-year-old Daryl Ship. Daryl is one of them self-proclaimed devil worshippers.
Oh.
Within this relationship, they both developed an obsession for the devil and the occult.
Spooky.
Krista, being the fucking hard-ass bitch she is, referred to herself as Lil Devil. Yep.
That sounds like a bad rap name.
It's like a little early for a shitty SoundCloud rap name, but like it's...
She was on it before it was a thing.
I need to check this out quick, actually. I need to see if there's a Lil Devil on Spotify.
I bet there is.
There definitely is, right?
There's probably like multiple. There's probably like little D number 3.
Right, let's see.
DIL.
Lil Devil. Lil Devil. Oh my God. There's like
How
10
many?
of them.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
There's probably 1,000.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's Lil Devil Man.
Little Devil Man.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What the 14, 15? Oh, that's Lil Devin. 14, 15. Holy shit, there's 15 of them on Spotify right now.
I can only imagine how many is on
Devils.
SoundCloud.
Oh my God, SoundCloud's got to be 30 if there's 15 on Spotify. One
look?
of them was spelled like Ill Devil. Like, it's a fucking stupid name. All right, like if you're gonna do a Lil, like do something like Lil Devil. Come on, like Lil Demon.
There's
even
a lot.
sounds cool. Are you on SoundCloud?
Yes.
Like even Lil Demon sounds cooler than Lil Devil. Holy shit! All right, yeah. So we got a lot of Lil Devils.
People and there's it does not stop.
Okay, so yeah, all right. So Lil Devil is if you're looking for your SoundCloud rap name, it's not going to work out for you.
Sorry.
So also Daryl had a shrine to Satan in his dorm room, supposedly. I'd be interested to see what police refer to a shrine as in the...
Like, are we talking like maybe like the Satanic Bible and like a candle or...
Yeah, exactly. There was a statue I heard. That was the only thing I heard, that there was some sort of statue and he had a Satanic Bible. So I think if a 90s cop sees that,
that's a Satanic Bible.
That's a fucking
I'm
altar.
Scared.
That's a fucking altar right there. We're going to get to refer to... I got a little Satanic Bible right here. Not the Satanism that I follow.
Mine's in my living room, but...
This is not the Satanism that I follow. This is Anton LaVey's Satanism, which is kind of fucking crazy. This is not everyday Satanism.
I haven't read it yet.
There's it's like the, like the Satanic temples, like there's no rituals. It's just like kind of like basically like almost like a protest to religious rights, like to allow religious rights for everybody. Mm-hmm. This is like what you would say like bad Satanism is, kind of.
Okay.
Like, it's not like the crazy bad, but it's not good.
Okay.
We're gonna read the 9 satanic statements in a little bit here, but Yeah, it's not this satanic church. This is, I think this is the Church of Satan is what this one is a part of, and this Church of Satan is not like an accredited religion like the Satanic Temple is. So this is not what Satanism is. Anyway, or what I consider Satanism to be.
Thanks for the TED Talk.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Eventually, maybe we'll do like a bonus episode talking about Satanism at some point.
We should. I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, that'd be kind of an interesting little like side story.
A bonus.
Yeah. So, Krista Pike began to believe that Colleen was into Daryl. She was madly in love with Daryl. This is the first man that's ever treated her well in her life. So she is in love with him and she doesn't want to lose him. All that bullshit. So her Colleen's friends and family would later deny this. She was like, "No, Colleen is not into Daryl. Like that's not a thing. That wasn't happening." So Shadola Peterson and Krista Pike came up with a plan to get Colleen out of the picture. So Krista offers her some weed, some demon cabbage. Demon cabbage is pretty cool. I kind of like that one actually. So she told her she wanted to squash the beef. We need to be cool. Like she's like, "You want to go get high and then go to Blockbuster?" And she was like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty cool. We can go Blockbuster. We can. What's a good movie in the 90s? Like
Scream.
Scream. I want to watch some Scream.
Yeah.
So they went to a remote area, a park, near the agricultural campus at the University of Tennessee. Krista claimed that she had weed hidden there. So Daryl wasn't going to go, but he was worried that Krista was going to do something bad. So they went to a location where nobody would be around to hear the screams. This is pretty fucked. So Colleen went along because she was like, "Yeah, we're going to go smoke weed. Like, why wouldn't we go to a weird place out in the middle of nowhere? That makes sense because it's illegal, you know, like, it's not like it'd be easier just to, you know, make it legal and okay to do anywhere." But anyway,
right.
Another discussion. Once they arrived, Krista began to accuse Colleen of trying to take her boyfriend. And once they got a decent way into the park that they were in, Colleen was like, "This feels weird." So she's like, "There's no weed, is there?" And she's like, "Nah." So in the book that I read, the second book, not the first shitty book, this is the second book that was like okay, but a little panicky. Krista confronted her and said she wants the truth. She said, "Why did you call me an N-word loving whore?" And this N-word was the full N-word.
Wow.
The big R and everything.
That's intense.
Every time I like read that in like old stories or even like anything, it just makes me like feels like a pit in my stomach. Just
makes me feel gross.
I just thought
it's a nasty word.
It's the
people around here throw it around like it's normal, and I'm like,
really?
Yes.
Holy
I mean, not
shit.
everyone. I mean, not
right. There are people that do it.
Yes, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, you're like, this can't be it. Like, come on, we can't
I
do this. I
don't belong here.
Oh my god,
it's nuts.
So which it doesn't make sense that would be said if she's like, "You called me this N-word loving whore, but you're also trying to take my black boyfriend." Like, doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So Krista began to beat her up. She's punching her in the face, pulling her hair, getting extremely angry. At one point, she grabbed her head and then kneed her in the nose. So she's beating the fuck out of her. And Colleen tried to run away at one point. It's all muddy. And Daryl stops her. And Krista yells to him to put her to the ground. So he forces her really hard to the ground, like pushes her face into the ground. She tries to run again, and she was held down by the two. She then takes out a box cutter, and she slices across Colleen's body. She starts bleeding at this point. The book I was reading said Shadola then tells Krista that you're going to go to prison if you don't do something about this, because she's going to tell police. Colleen begged them to let her go. She said she would leave town and never tell anybody. But as these stories always are, I don't know if anybody ever believes that when that's said, you know, it's like,
yeah,
it's like, I get why she's saying it. And maybe she'd even do it, but like nobody's ever gonna believe that. Like, how do
No, you can't. How are you gonna trust a person that you just kidnapped, or
right,
that you just beat the fuck out of?
right? So nobody ever gets away from things like this, which is
Right.
fucked. I wish maybe she would have just gone. Like maybe she wouldn't have talked to police because she probably doesn't like police. So she begged to go, and Krista began cutting her all over her chest and her hands. They then forced her to undress, so her bra and shirt were now off. Their logic behind forcing her to undress was that they believed that she wouldn't run away if she was naked.
Mm,
I think
that's
if I'm
kind of
getting,
weird, but okay.
I think if I'm getting like murdered, I think I want to
I
run butt
don't
ass
care if
naked.
I
You
have
know,
clothes on or not. I'm gonna try.
like I'm getting
I'm
out
gonna
of
try to
there,
run away. That's not gonna be my first concern.
right? So she then takes out a meat cleaver and she cuts her stomach and her chest. Colleen was still alive during this entire attack, as we discussed earlier. She was cut in the throat with her box cutter. Okay, this is pretty fucked. There's a cut on her throat with the box cutter now. They then took off that hairband earlier and stuffed it into her mouth. Tadero then takes the box cutter and cuts a pentagram into her chest. And then he slices her neck again with the box cutter. Krista takes the cutter again from here and then puts a circle around the pentagram. Then Krista says something like, "This bitch won't die," which is so sad.
That is.
She then takes that piece of asphalt that I discussed earlier and began to
Mhm.
beat her in the head with it as hard as she could. As she hits her, she's bleeding, she's gurgling blood, her brain matter is spilling out of her head. Ugh.
I hate it.
She removes a piece of her skull. As God, it's so fucked up that she removes a piece of her skull while she's there, and it was possible that she was still alive at that point, like dying. So she was still breathing at this point, and Krista slit her throat multiple times, but very deeply. And she still tried to sit up.
Oh my
She's a
god.
fighter. She's fighting extremely hard. But yeah, if you saw the wound, which I don't advise you try to find it, it's terrible. Take it from me, it's a wound enough to kill a person.
Mhm.
So she was shoved back to the ground. And she died shortly after that. So once she was definitely dead, they drug her to the place she was found at. It was a decent like length of a decent distance. They had to drag her and move her.
Wow.
But yeah. Sorry, I'm like every time I hit these parts of the story, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I know, it's terrible.
So they go to the gas station and they clean up as well as they can, and they discard her ID and the murder weapon. They were discovered to be the ones to do this because a kid at the Job Corps was scared after hearing about this murder. So he called the cops and he told them about the satanic kids there. Here's a quote that she said while being interrogated. "I don't want to say that I intended to kill her, but I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't do the accent right now. I'm so sad. I don't want to say that I know. I don't want to say that I intended to kill her, but I would say that I didn't care if she died." She said, "I wouldn't lose any sleep over it if she did die."
Wow.
So during the interrogation, Tadero's interrogation, he said he thought about the killing being a sacrifice. He believed that she was a witch, and the only way to kill a witch was by smashing her skull. The book tried to infer that Satanists believe that a body has to be whole for the soul to escape, so that's why they took a piece of her skull. Yeah. So here's where I want to. I don't know if that seems like cap.
Yeah.
So here's where I want to read the 9 sentiments of Satanism because it's interesting. 1. Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. 2. Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. 3. Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. 4. Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. 5, Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. 6, which I thought 5, that's pretty fucked. Like, instead of accepting apologies, it represents vengeance. Like, this is weird. 6, Satan represents responsibility to the represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires.
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, more often worse than those that walk on all fours, who, because of his divine spiritual and intellectual development, has become the most vicious animal of all. 8, Satan represents all of the so-called sins. Oh God, they said so-called. Oh no. So-called sins. Oh shit. As they all lead to physical, mental, or emotional gratification. 9, the last one. Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had, as he has kept it in business all these years.
Damn.
So that is the Church of Satanism. So it's kind of like I don't know. I don't agree with that book at all. It's not like what like the Satanic
it's
Temple
interesting.
Satanism. It is interesting for sure, but it's like it's like the Satanic Temple is just like, yeah, everybody should believe what they want and have freedoms. Like,
right.
But this one's like, get revenge. It's like it's kind of it's bizarre. So yeah, this book was found in his thing. So like, but it, I don't know. Actual Satanism doesn't believe in Satan.
I know.
That's like, but this fucking Satanism does believe in Satan. It's right. Strange. It's strange and it's edgy, and I don't agree with that shit. Okay, so Krista was found guilty of murder, and she would eventually be sentenced to death because she felt no remorse. Not because she had felt no remorse, but she did feel no remorse.
Mm-hmm.
While in jail, she sent a letter to Daryl that was intercepted. And here's an excerpt, because everything that she says that I'm going to talk about as we go, I just want you to know that this is what was in her fucking head. Please write me. I miss you so much. You see what I get for trying to be nice to the hoe? I went ahead and bashed her brains out so she'd die quickly instead of letting her bleed to death and suffer more. And they want to fucking fry me? Ain't that some shit? Please write me and tell me what you're feeling. Also, tell your lawyer if he wants me to testify for you, I will. Love you for the rest of my life. Signed, Lil Devil.
What the fuck?
This stupid fucking bitch.
Oh my god.
See what I get for trying to be nice? Like, you trying to be nice, you stupid fucking
her a hoe.
Like, what the fuck? You wrote that awful. In prison? Like, they're not gonna fucking read it?
Right.
Excuse me? She's a there's another thing she does later that's stupid as fuck, but we'll talk about that as we get to it. So Tadero was found guilty as well, but he didn't receive the death penalty because he was 17. Life in prison. Shadola Peterson didn't have enough evidence against her. So she only served 460 days in jail and had 6 years of probation. But the story isn't over yet. Krista was a shitty prisoner.
Wow, I'm so surprised.
Right. And as we know from the last episode, Patricia Jones was transferred to an exercise cage with Krista and Natasha from the last episode. And Krista and Natasha were friends. So they were all put in this thing because there was a fire started in the prison, and so they were alone in here. So they argued, and then Krista tried choking Patricia Jones. Krista later says that she was attacking, or Patricia Jones was attacking Natasha first. So she broke up the fight and choked her out with a shoelace. That doesn't really make sense to me.
No.
So this fucking stupid idiot girl calls her mom after this point and says, shit. She calls her mom. Oh my God. Oh God. I wrote, she calls her mom and deserved the attempted murder, but I meant to say described. Jesus Christ. and in prison, calls are recorded. Here's what she said. She was passed out on the ground, mama, twitching, foaming at the mouth. If I'd had 30 more seconds, we'd have a little chalk line out there in a rec pen, and that bitch would be gone somewhere.
What the fuck?
Like, you stupid fucking moron. Like, you just can't do that. Like,
dumb as fuck.
Yeah, that's just like, this is the second time. Like, she doesn't understand that she's a fucking prisoner. Like, you're. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about like police listening in to every conversation or whatever, but like,
right?
They do, and whatever. That's stupid. She got 25 more years in prison for this. And then in March 2021, or I think it was actually March 2012, I think, but I wrote March 2021 because I'm an idiot. She tried to escape. She was going to use a corrections officer and a man from New Jersey named Donald Cahoot.
Cahoot?
Yeah, Cahoot. Cahoot was a personal trainer, and they're writing letters back and forth. He was driving 1,800 miles round trip for her a few times a month to see her.
Wow.
They then planned her escape. The plan was to get a duplicated prison key, but someone ratted and they got caught. Cahoot was charged with bribery and conspiracy. 7 years in prison. Holy shit. Pike didn't receive any more time as there was not enough proof that she was a participant. But she was a fucking participant. The correction officer, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, you think he was just like doing this, and she was just sitting there like
she had no idea what was going on.
I didn't know they were gonna do that. I didn't think they were gonna try to break me out of prison. It's like, shut the fuck up, you orchestrated, you moron. Oh, Donald Cahoot, what are you doing?
What are you doing here?
All right, so let's talk about the satanic panic stuff in this that was in the book as I was reading it. So Daryl had an altar with a statue in his dorm room, and the police believe that there was a group of 5 to 15 students that dabbled in the occult. But they did not believe there was a group of organized Satanists at the Job Corps. But this didn't stop the media or the crazy people from believing that there was. They wanted the Job Corps banned because it was satanic. Ooh. And the cops wanted them banned too. They wanted the Job Corps gone because there were troubled kids there, and they came up with this like graph that showed how it was like how much crime has has gotten worse since the Job Corps thing started.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So they all wanted them gone, but it's like the this one murder happens, and now the whole system's satanic. It's like, shut the fuck up. It didn't help that the murder became known as the Job Corps murder. So Job Corps did not get a good rep from this.
No, I don't think so.
So as of 2022, Krista Pike is still on death row. And there's a video that I found where she's discussing being on death row and why she believes she doesn't deserve to die.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So around 2012, this is when this was put out, I believe. Her mom says, Krista doesn't deserve to die. No one deserves to die. Krista says, I did something horrible, but I don't deserve to die for the actions of 3 individuals. And her vibe when she said that was really weird. She was like, I don't deserve to die for the actions of 3 individuals. It was so weird the way she was saying it. She was like bitchy. Like, she fucking sucks. She straight up just fucking sucks. I really hated this bitch.
Sounds like a bitch.
Like, this was your idea. You brought him out. It's like, whatever. Another thing that pissed me off was that her mom said, regardless of the crime she committed, she has a huge heart.
I don't think so.
No, she doesn't. No, she's a fucking psychopath. She's a piece of shit. She's human.
She feels
fucking
no
waste.
remorse for it.
What the fuck? Yeah. What? Like,
okay.
So yeah. In the video, it's obvious they're trying to paint to Daryl as the bad guy, kind of like when they showed his picture. The music changed. It was like the music got darker.
Was it all dramatic and shit?
Right. It said that she was more interested in her boyfriend than the Job Corps. So, I kind of want to talk about the death penalty a little bit right here.
Okay.
Do you have an opinion on the death penalty?
I don't agree with it.
I don't either. But But
But
with like things like this fucking moron, like I kind of look away. Like, dude, I know she'll spend the rest of her life in prison, and odds are with the way the system is right now, she's gonna be on death
she'll
row the
probably
rest of
just
her
die
life.
in prison anyways.
She'll die in
Like,
death row,
not
and
yeah.
in death row is actually pretty fucking terrible. Like you're alone, you're in a room for 23 hours a day, and you get 1 hour where
So
you're
why
out.
can't we
Like,
just keep it that way for people
right,
who do shit like she did?
right. So like death is almost like an escape from that because death row is pretty fucked up. I don't believe in the death penalty because I think if one person dies, um, that like one innocent person, if one innocent
Mhm.
person dies, then it's a failure. The whole system's like a failure.
Mhm.
Um, but like with this, it's like she doesn't have a huge heart. Like she's a piece of shit person. Like I don't. She never deserves to be free again. So like whether it's her being put to death or her being in life in jail, I don't care. I just don't ever want her to be free in any possibility again. It's obviously trying to escape too. It's like
Mhm.
I don't know. So there are certain cases where I kind of look the other way, and I'm like, I'm okay with her dying. That's fine with
Okay.
me. I'm fine. I'm fine with that happening. But as a whole system, our justice system is way too shitty to be able to tell if people are innocent or guilty.
I
Like
agree
it's
with that.
like I don't know. The innocent people have been put to death in the past. It's like
Mhm.
generally it feels like it's innocent black people getting put to death, but that's a whole separate conversation to have.
That'd
Um,
be too long.
yeah. So, Colleen was scared of Krista Pike. Like before this, there was like a story about her standing over her bed at one point. But as I said earlier, Job Corps requires you to sign a contract to go there. So she had a contract, so she couldn't leave, but she wanted to go home. Krista said that when she went out there, she just planned on fighting her, and then it escalated. She said that she was taking out all of her past frustrations out on her, and I'm like, I don't feel bad. Like, your life sucked, and that sucks, but I don't feel bad. Like I don't feel bad for this situation. Like, you don't have
Mhm.
any. You had a shitty life growing up. I get that. You can't use that as like a reason to kill somebody.
Mhm.
Um, when I was watching this video, they showed the pentagram, like the cut of the pentagram,
Yeah.
and there's like the pentagram spot, and then below it, there's like a bunch of like cuts, and they showed the picture of the cuts and not the pentagram, which I thought was kind of funny that they completely missed the pentagram.
Right.
Like they're looking at these cuts and they're like, huh, yep, that's the pentagram right there. It's like it's not. You just missed it. um, so she said that she was the first. Krista says that she was the first one arrested and the first one they talked to. So she told them everything right away because she wanted to try to save her two friends because she said, well, if they got their person, then my friends can go free, whatever. So she like admitted everything right away, and that's what she claims now.
Hmm.
Um, but she's had a lot of time to think being in a room for 23 hours a day.
Good. I would certainly hope so.
So during the trial, Krista was like laughing and smiling and passing notes to her mom and lawyer. Um, she when they played her confession and she starts crying at one point, and that's the only emotion she really showed that was like
Wow.
negative. And her mom said she didn't think the jurors could see how sweet she was, see her crying, and convict her of a crime. Bitch, she
Okay.
fucking admitted to killing her. Like, what do you mean they're not going to convict
Right.
her? What are they going to do? Oh, she looks sweet. She
No,
looks
that's
fucking
not how it
sweet.
works.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Her mom's an idiot. Like, I'm sure it sucks. Like, I'm sorry that your kid sucks and you sucked raising your kid, but you're a fucking piece of shit
Mhm.
too. Um, it took them less than 3 hours to find her guilty.
Nice.
And then once it was time for the sentencing, it took them 1 hour to decide on death.
Wow.
So she was like the first woman in 150 years to be sentenced to death in Tennessee.
Wow.
So after this verdict came out, her mom started screaming at the jurors and calling them murderers. You murdered my daughter. It's like, shut the fuck
But your
up. Like,
child murdered someone.
your child murdered an innocent person, and
Yes.
now the jury as a whole decided that your murderer daughter doesn't deserve to live. It's like, say what you want about the death penalty. I don't believe in it, but like, they are not murderers. Like,
No.
your daughter's the murderer. She's a literal piece of fucking trash. They also were saying, like, she's like, if she gets murdered, it's gonna hurt more people than just her. Like, or she gets put to sentenced to death, or she gets the electric chair. She's getting lethal injections, is what she's gonna get. Um, she's like, she has nieces and nephews that love her and blah blah blah. And I'm like, fuck, they don't even know her. The fuck, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't believe in the death penalty. I feel like I just need to say that. I don't believe in it, but I hate this bitch. So in the video as well, they were talking about the incident, about the fight that she attempted murder with Natasha from the last thing. And in that it said Natasha, a Satanist who murdered a family or whatever. And it's like, what the? She wasn't even a Satanist.
Oh my
Like,
god!
what you're reporting? Like, you just say she was.
I think it's just like an attention grabber thing.
100%. That's like, it's the media can use Satanism as a tool to make people look worse.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, death row is fucking terrible. 23 hours in a room, like you're not leaving. You're fucking fucked the rest of your life. Yeah, I don't care. She wants to go to general pop. I don't know, I wrote general pop. I wrote gen pop. And Colleen's mom says, yeah, I want you to general population too, because she thinks that she's gonna get murdered in there.
Damn.
So yeah, her mom was like, when she heard that, Colleen's mom, when she heard the death penalty thing, she was like, oh, good, yeah. Like, it was like, she's like really nonchalant about it. She's like, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Like, it's not like it, brings her daughter back. And it's
right.
There's not really ever justice, but it was just so weird seeing this shitty person like talking about, seeing Krista, that shitty person I'm talking about, like talk about this crime, like, this is the action of 3 people, so I don't deserve to die. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're a fucking piece of shit. I hate you so fucking much.
Stupid
like, I don't know, just her vibe. Her vibe was just
I didn't even look up to see what she looked like. Do you know what she looks like?
Yeah, she looks like shit. She looks pretty normal. I mean, the Satanic Panic headline that we're gonna name the episode at was called "Angel's Face, Devil's Heart," because one of the jurors said she has Angel's face, but she's got the devil's heart or something like that. So like, that was the headline that they used. I don't think she looks like an angel. I think she just looked like a young woman, but like, whatever. She was a fucking piece of shit. Are you looking her up?
Yeah.
It's just Krista with C and then Pike.
Yeah,
She looks,
I found her.
yeah, she looks normal.
Yeah, her hair's ginormous.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she's a piece of human excrement, and I hate her guts. I just hate her. Like, as I kept going in the story, like, there are parts of her life that suck, but like, for her to be so confident about not deserving to die because of whatever,
right?
Like, you can say like the death penalty is like unjust because innocent people die. Like, I can agree with that, but like, bitch, you don't fucking deserve anything. You just go, just fucking There was a point when she was on death row. She like she was like, I want to waive all my appeals. I just want to be put to death. Please kill me, like, whatever. So they did. They're like, okay, cool, bet. We'll schedule your execution. 2 days later, she's like, actually, no. Take back. Gotcha. You believe that, bro? Jesus fucking Christ. So yeah, that's the story.
That was
yeah,
rough.
a big rip to Colleen Slemmer. Like, this, she was a fucking 18 or 19-year-old girl just murdered for nothing.
Yep.
I don't have enough information on her. All I know is she lived in Florida. She dropped out of school. And she was a white witch. Like, what the like? I don't know. These old cases, a lot of the old cases, I think journalism's getting a little bit better now to where both stories are getting told. But back then, it was just like, what can we make people interested in? Let's satanic murder, like
Satan,
like, not the person killed. We don't, that person. No, they're just a victim. They're an innocent girl victim. You don't need to know anything about them. I'm like,
pretty much.
Just fucking, like, I want information on both of them. I just want to know it all. I want to feel worse about the murder. I think that's what I think is weird, why they don't go into more detail, because like, you could make people feel really shitty reading something, and like,
right.
Shouldn't that be the point of true crime? Shouldn't you end up feeling a little shitty every time?
You should.
So I hope.
But that's not the way it is.
to our listeners, I hope I made you feel like shit. I hope you feel like
Joe.
dog shit right now. I hope like your day's ruined because of my story. Because that's what the fuck I want.
Well, my day's ruined now. Thanks.
Yeah, man, my fucking day. Listen, like, I feel like until I did a podcast, I would only indulge in true crime like for periods of time because I would get way too like down, and then, like I would, yeah, I would
Mine's a
hit
daily thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I would hit like I would do it for like months and months, and then I would be like, oh, I'm fucked up right now, and then I would like take a little break, then I'd go back to it. But now that when I do the podcast, it's like I research a case every week, so I'm like,
right.
Yeah, so I'm constantly doing it, but I feel great.
Good.
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
You're good, bruh.
I'm all right.
Nice.
Please don't. I'm good. Like, this isn't a call for help. I promise. I'm okay.
He's good. I see him right now. Everything's totally fine.
I'm okay. Good. You got therapy in the morning? I'll be all right. Actually, do go to therapy, everybody. I'm good. Anything else you want to say before we dip out of here?
I don't think so. I think you said it all.
Yeah, I think I did too. Yeah. Yeah. What's our tagline we came up with last week? Our outro?
Peace, love, Satan.
Peace, love, Satan.
Or like live, laugh, Satan. I don't know.
It was peace, love,
no, peace.
Satan.
Oh, peace, love.
Are you doing that heart? I can't do that heart too well.
Yes, you can.
That one's hard. What do you mean?
No, it's not. It's so easy.
This one's easy.
I think this one looks better though.
Yeah, it does look a little better.
So you got it. Look at what are you doing with your?
You don't think that's right?
No.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back in a week.
Listen to next week.
Yeah,
we'll be back at some point.
I'm gonna ruin your fucking day again.
Yep.
I can't fucking do this.
What's happening to our soul? What's happening to your soul? And are there influences trying to steal your soul?